Hello, Rising Phoenix family. Trevor, Master Olds here. We hope you guys are all staying safe, training hard. We got more videos coming your way, but we wanted to sit down and one thing that we were thinking of over the past week is that we could put together a list of martial arts videos for you guys to watch. I know I've had a lot more time to consume content and watch things recently, so we figured why don't we put together some videos that are martial arts related, that will get you jazzed about your training, and all of that. So, Master Olds, why don't you lead us into the first one that we have to talk about?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the film that really got me super hooked on the martial arts was The Karate Kid. There's a lot of great martial arts movies out there, but not all of them speak to the heart of the martial arts. You know, they do flashy moves, they're exciting and cool, but The Karate Kid is not really about this technique, you know, the good techniques and stuff. I mean, honestly, I think the karate in it is pretty remedial, but the story is like captures the spirit of the martial arts like no other movie I've ever seen. You know, you were talking a little bit about Pat Moriarty and how he's like kind of the can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, there's a really great video out there on how Pat Morita's Mr. Miyagi is the best mentor character in all of cinema. He makes a really great case for it. I'll put the description, the link in the description below. But just talking about how Mr. Miyagi is one of the best mentor figures. He's really complex. He's got a lot of depth in the way that he becomes a father figure for Ralph Macchio and all of that. So you know, even the way that Daniel Son's journey begins, where he goes and sees Mr. Miyagi,
and he's like, you know, teach me karate, and he starts him off, you know, waxing his cars and painting the fence and all that sort of stuff, and sort of gets frustrated with that experience, and then says, you know, I want to learn karate, and finally he realizes that everything he's been doing has been training for his real journey to begin. Is exactly the same experience of the white belt in Taekwondo. I think that was really well captured. And then also, you know, for example, the difference between Cobra Kai and Mr. Miyagi's style of karate is something that is a big part of the martial arts landscape. You know, when I was a kid, I was very fortunate to train under a bunch of different Korean masters, and the philosophy and the feel of the school was very different from a lot of the American karate schools that I went to once I became an adult and started getting into Shorin karate. And, you know, I think there's you know, without getting to a
we could do a whole
video on this, but I mean, I think there's you know, obviously there's some strengths to the American style, but there's a lot of strengths to that kind of Okinawan style, where, you know, we're talking about humility, respect, discipline, these sort of leadership life skills that are integral to the martial arts that can never be really taken out of it, is kind of the real goal of your training, and that movie really speaks to that.
Yeah. So while it may seem like Cobra Kai is this ridiculous caricature of a martial arts philosophy, it's really not. It's really indicative of actually a kind of cultural battle for the spirit of the martial arts that's going on right now. But without getting too sidetracked on that, want to talk about the remake.
So the remake was really good. I think the
Jackie Chan.
The martial arts in that
Kid
was actually better.
Yeah.
You know, Jackie Chan's fantastic. He combines not only great martial arts skills but also gymnastic skills, and then
Jaden
Smith is a really good martial artist. You can tell just the way he kicks and punches that he's got a lot of experience, and together they make a better martial arts movie. But the action, but you can't really beat the original. And I think the life lessons in the martial arts ethos that's imparted in the original Karate Kid is so much deeper, so much richer, and that's why I recommend starting with that one first. Really, the Karate Kid the remake should be called
Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah,
because they're studying Kung Fu.
I would have liked it probably more if they had said that, because I feel like that was kind of just to try to rip off the name, you know. But it was good. You know, it was good.
So moving on, the next one is one that's very special to you specifically, Master Olds. Can you talk a little bit about?
Yeah, so there was a couple of movies that I watched when I was a kid that really resonated with me. The first one was called Sidekicks. And it was a story of a kid who's always a dreamer, and he's got, probably a little ADD. He's always got his head in the clouds, and his teachers always tell him, like, hey, wake up, you gotta focus. But he's always on these adventures in his mind, saving, people and all this kind of stuff. And he has asthma, which kind of prevents him from, fulfilling his dream. And through learning the martial arts, he overcomes his asthma and meets Chuck Norris, who, any movie with Chuck Norris in it is going to be great. Yeah.
We had to include him in the list somewhere.
So that movie was really special to me, and I think a lot of people, had a similar experience growing up and would really resonate with that movie as well. Mm-hmm. And the second movie was called The Three Ninjas.
Three Ninjas.
Yeah.
Which, go ahead.
No, yeah. I mean, you can chime if you want. So, Trevor and I and my older brother all did Taekwondo growing up as kids, and we were a family of 3 brothers. And it incidentally worked out that we were pretty much exactly the same age as these 3 kids in Three Ninjas. Now, I haven't seen it in so long. Yeah. It's probably really campy and cheesy, but I just remember, it resonated with me so much.
Mm-hmm. They go away to visit their grandfather who teaches them. And it mirrored us going away to Vermont in the summers and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, so it was really good. You should definitely watch it.
Yeah, and then a real quick shout out to just another kind of older. Is it 90s?
I think it's the 80s, late 80s. The Best of the Best, which was I think it's the first premiere of Taekwondo in cinema. It's a story of an American Taekwondo team that goes to Korea to compete against the Koreans, and basically it's a fine movie. I think it's good to watch just because you guys do Taekwondo.
Yep. And then some things that I wanted to throw into this list are, there's a train going by, I'm sure you guys can hear that. But not just Eastern martial arts, but also Western martial arts. For us growing up, chivalry, kind of that warrior ethos, chivalry that's in the same vein. A Knight's Tale. That's the movie with Heath Ledger in it. Really excellent, really, really funny. Kind of the story of this squire who his knight dies, and he puts on his knight's armor so you can't see his face, and he basically impersonates this knight, but he's just a peasant, and it's about him, aspiring to become this great knight and falling in love and sacrificing for love, and it's a really beautiful story. Also, the character who plays kind of his sidekick, his Chaucer, is hilarious. He's got some great speeches in there. So A Knight's Tale, I would really highly recommend. And then this next one is kind of a stand-in for any Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, so many good ones to choose from.
But we had to pick one, Rush Hour. I just love Rush Hour. It's really, really funny. And one of my favorite things from that is
Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth?
It's so good. But one of the things, I was recently watching a video talking about how when Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker first met, their interactions are very similar to their interactions in the movie, where Chris Tucker is talking a mile a minute and Jackie Chan is just kind of this quiet, you talk too much, this is a distraction. And apparently they became really good friends after that movie, so I think that's a really sweet little kind of behind-the-scenes tidbit. So Rush Hour, but really, there's Drunken Master, there's tons of them out there.
I think with Rush Hour is when I really discovered Jackie Chan. I mean, I know he did a lot of stuff before that, but I think that was a pretty important one for me.
And then moving on, this is a movie that actually both of us came back to later in life. I had heard really amazing things about it, but I never watched it when it kind of came out, and I rewatched it when I was in college and really, really fell in love with it, and that's Rocky. Mm-hmm. And really the whole Rocky series, but just picking one. I think you said Rocky 2 is your favorite.
I don't know. I mean, I actually like them all. I just really like Rocky as a character, and I think some of his lines that he says, never give up, never stop believing. A lot of his one-liners, a lot of the whole symbolism of Rocky as a character is just so beautiful. Even in the remake, Rocky Balboa that came out not that long ago, and was kind of thought of just kind of a one-off kind of thing, had some amazing one-liners in it.
And you were also saying that you really like it, not just because of the story itself, but because Sylvester Stallone is not only a really great actor, but he also wrote it, which is really inspiring.
Yeah, he's a really inspiring character. If you haven't read up on him, I encourage you to do so, because I didn't really know much about him. I just thought he was just kind of like this ugly dude. He was real strong and stuff, but he's really him and what's his name?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger are actually really impressive characters.
Yeah, they're not just these meatheads who had a lot of great one-liners in the days of yore. And then moving on, kind of as we've been going from most kid-friendly to least kid-friendly, and these are now some, are movies, but have some movies that have some really excellent fight scenes that would be great to watch, get you really jazzed. You want to talk about the first one?
Sure. I think the movie that I first saw, and I was like, wow, martial arts in this is amazing, was Ong-Bak. I'm not sure the storyline, how great that is. It's fine, but the martial arts is really good. I heard that actually a lot of the actors got injured in it because it was pretty much just real fighting. They pulled some of their contact, but there was actual contact through the whole thing. So yeah, it's a really good,
Ong-Bak. Well, I'll type it out in the description below.
Yeah.
It's primarily Muay Thai.
Yes,
correct?
yeah, it's a Muay Thai movie.
So there's a lot of different styles.
A lot of flying elbows.
Yeah. And then the next one is we have some of these movies here. I should have been pulling these up, but The Raid. All right.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
The Raid is non-stop action from start to finish. It's basically like one long fight scene through an apartment complex. Storylines fine, but the action's really the reason to watch that.
Yeah. And then moving on from that is a movie that I saw not that long ago, but really fell in love with, which was Ip Man. This is Ip Man 2, but I've seen the original. Really fantastic. So Ip Man is the story of Ip Man is the man who would eventually become Bruce Lee's master, and it's set in occupied China during World War II, and it's set in this city that is renowned for its martial arts masters. Basically an entire square of just martial arts studios, and all these masters have rivalries with each other, and they kind of fight and tease. But the main character, Donnie Yen, Ip Man, is kind of a little bit apart from that. He's like the one over all of them, and his story is really inspiring. Definitely not kid friendly, but really excellent fight scenes in it. Donnie Yen is an incredible martial artist. He's also an incredible choreographer. A lot of the fights in a lot of movies that you've seen have probably been choreographed from him, and you didn't even know it. So yeah, Ip Man. Also, I'll spell it down in the description below. And then the last one. Yeah,
and the last one I think probably a lot of people haven't seen, and I sort of discovered this through a friend a long time ago. It's called Kuro-obi. It's one of the best portrayals of karate or taekwondo. They're pretty similar in cinema. I think as far as technique goes, like I said, I think Karate Kid's got definitely the better storyline. Although Kuro-obi has a really good storyline. I think you can only find it subtitled. Maybe there's a dubbed version. I don't know, but it's a Japanese movie. Kuro-obi literally means black belt in Japanese, and it's basically the story of a traditional karate school in Japan that gets shut down by the Japanese government, and the 3 top students kind of compete for leadership over the school and trying to rebuild it. But the thing that's so great about it is the fighting is so simple, like just a single front kick or a single punch, but so fast and so proficient, and it ends the fight immediately, ends that person's soul immediately, that it's just wow, I've never seen something so simple look so good. And I think you should totally watch it for that, if anything.
That's all that we have right now. This is obviously not an exhaustive list. There's many martial arts movies, but we didn't want this to be a 40-minute long video. Just to give some, we might do some later, but
well, we want to hear from you guys. Post comment below on movies that were influential to you and that you think we should watch in this time of
all being locked in, we'll start crazy,
needing some kind of entertainment.
Thanks again. Hope you guys are training hard, and we will see you in the next video.
Sounds good.